Hey everyone, Eric Watson here, freelance writer, player of games, writer, voice recorder, videos, and tabletop role-playing aficionado. Welcome to the Thursday edition of my bi-weekly behind-the-scenes DM-only live stream, Crafting the Deep, in which I build, write, and prepare for our next session of Call from the Deep. If you're playing characters Gottwald, Max Sabra, or Toro, this stream is not meant for you. Be full of spoilers. The rest of you, I hope you can withstand my rather congested self. Stream our D&D sessions live on YouTube every Friday. Join our official Discord server with invite link in the description below. If you'd like to support the channel, please check out patreon.com/RogueWatson. For our campaign, we use Roll20 for streaming. I use OBS Studio for medicine. I use Dayquil, NyQuil, and whatever things my wife wants me to shove up my nose. I can't believe I caught like a fucking bug again. I don't know. I guess it's just a cold this time. I'm not feverish or anything, but it just started last night. Basically, I had a sore throat, which is usually how it starts, and then or was it the day before? I think it was actually the day before I had the sore throat, and then yesterday I think I had more full-on symptoms coming, and then today it's been not great, which is a bummer because it's friggin' Thursday, and I've got a Patreon game tonight, and then we've got the main game on Friday. So I apologize for somehow managing to catch crap again. Those of you with perhaps younger school-age kids will sympathize because you get all kinds of the kid germs, which are not great, so I'm sure I sound horrible. I've been coughing and sneezing and all that fun stuff, so this may be a shorter crafting stream. So all that's to say that I'm definitely feeling sorry for myself, and hopefully we can get through. I almost thought about canceling this crafting stream, but I'm like, you know what, let's just see if we can get through it. Maybe that'll help energize me, and we'll see how it goes. But I'm so frustrated. October is like a cursed month for me when it comes to health. I have like disadvantage on con saving throws all freaking month. Pain in the ass. We're still talking about the Purple Rocks region. We're well beyond Tentrix's floating fortress, although the players seem to be stuck back there. In the process of trying to gather some maps and figure out which like events and things I want to actually excuse me, run from this area. I did find I scoped through the call from the deep. Actually, it's Ghost of Saltmarsh Discord server, but there's a Call from the Deep channel that has maps and arts in it. That's where I find a lot of my map sources. It's not an ideal place because it's just like having to scroll through like years of people posting stuff, but there's some decent things in there. I'm not sure if this is where I found this map of Northern Trisk, by the way. I'm not sure if I can get this to line up. I literally just threw this into Roll20, and I'm not sure if this might be the same artist who had made the other map that I couldn't use because it didn't necessarily line up correctly. So we'll see if we can get it to align. I think I want to do align to grid. Yeah, and then do a 3x3, which looks like 1, 2, 3x3 is right here. Like that. So we'll see if that gets pretty close. Let's try align to grid. Is going to blow it up. Oh my gosh, the resolution did not like that at all, though. Jesus. Yeah, it's pretty blurry. That's not good, but that's the size, right? I need to look at the original one. All right, what's the original size look like? Weirdly, I didn't see this map. I don't know if I deleted it or what, but why do I not have this map in... did I fuck this up somewhere? Let's see. I didn't actually make a new folder here. Nope. In fact, can I pull those out of the folder? Okay. I think that worked. I don't see this Northern Trisk map, like the OG version of this map, anywhere that I have. I have Dungeons of Ascar, which is the big 81, the 80 room one. Temple of Tentacles, which is that one area. Ruins of Ascara, which is the top end. I don't have this Northern Trisk map, though, unless it ended up in a random folder, or I archived it for some reason. But I don't know. Somehow it slipped through the cracks. Okay, let's see if I archived it. Yeah, I'm not seeing this anywhere. That's so weird. So I don't even have like the crappy version of the map that I can look at. But yeah, these hallways are only supposed to be 5 feet. Looks like one square. And then this room is one. I always try to look for like square rooms because that's the easiest thing to do it by. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 3 squares on that top room. Yeah, that's not lined up at all. So I do it like that. Now it's lined up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, actually. All right, so it would be like that size. Unfortunately, it's a gridded map too. I don't think there's a non-gridded version, which would solve all my problems. But you can see where the grid's not fitting over here. This is part of what makes me insane about trying to get these maps to work. Also, but I lost a lot of resolution when I blew it up like this, so that's not great. Crap, do I really not have a map of this area? That is the only one I had in my folder for Northern Trisk. That's a bummer. I guess I could just keep Google searching for it. I'm gonna blow my nose again. Give me a second. I know, yeah, we've had fake fall followed by record highs. We literally hit like 90 degrees this week or something stupid. October is also is for Texas. October is supposed to be our like second wettest month of the year, I think, also, and we've had zero rain. It's been really dry, really hot, which is nuts. Which you think wouldn't equal like sickness going around either. But here I am, failing my con saves. I do not have a good map of this area. Let's see what the Google search gives me. Ah, if I search call from the deep map, my own YouTube comes up pretty high. It's funny. Pretty high in the Google search. Yeah, I got nothing on the Google image search either. Son of a gun. Well, that's gonna really discourage me from using this area then. If I can't find a workable. I mean, I could use something like this. I'd have to adjust it because you can see the grid isn't working. It's also possible it's just not correctly spaced apart with the right grid size so that it's not going to ever fit, which would be a huge bummer. This map board needs to be bigger also. Let's see, width, height. Gosh, it's a really big map, isn't it? I guess resolution's not horrible. We get so spoiled. Yeah, it's annoying that this room fits almost perfectly, and then as soon as you get to like this area, the grid doesn't line up at all. Damn. And then it's just completely off once you get down here, so that's not good. Why did that not line up? I mean, I could sit here and adjust it, I guess, but what a pain in the butt that is. It's too bad because I liked reading this area and thought it had some cool stuff going on. Oh my gosh, seriously. Okay, we found the height. What is the dang width of this one? Let's go to 50. 50 is still not enough. My goodness. Why does the map have to extend that long? The tunnel only goes to here. All right. Let's do it 55. There we go. Reach the end. All right. So, how do we make this shit fit? A little better width-wise. But it's still a little off. I think it's a little too long. So we shorten it. Ooh. Ooh, I think we nailed it. I think we nailed the width. Welcome to map porn. Grid porn where we align our grids in real time. Hell yeah, I think we actually aligned the width perfectly there. Okay. Sweet. Let's do the same thing with the height. We can do this. We can do this. Where is the bottom? Right there. Okay. So now let's do the same thing. We hold down Alt. And that one's not going to work. That one's not going to work. Keep shortening it. That one's not going to work. Keep shortening it. Oh, I don't think it's going to work. Maybe we need to lengthen. It's getting way too compressed now. Okay. Maybe it needs to go longer. Dun, dun, dun. I think we got it. Right? I don't know how you guys can see that, by the way. How you can see the grids align. Holy crap, I think we nailed it. Okay. We've blended. We've blended grid to grid. And that's what gets me all hot and bothered. Blending grids on a Roll20 map. Okay, okay, so we got that. This is the space we could use. All that works. We just need to cut off some of the width. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces from the width. Puts us at 49. We'll leave the height where it is. Yeah, it looks good. What do you think about the resolution? I'm at 80% right now. If I go into 100%, I mean, it definitely looks blown up. But there's no way for me to fix that other than having it and like doubling the grid size, but that equals small tokens, which I don't think we like. So that part's a bummer. But otherwise, it's a 1-to-1. Somebody built a 1-to-1 of the Northern Trisk map. You can see where everything kind of falls into place. There's the tower pieces on the left. By the way, I can credit user Spiffy Pilgrim. I think it was Shopka who originally made it, and Spiffy Pilgrim maybe redid the size for making it fit. This is all on the Discord server. That's on the Discord server is technically Ghost of Saltmarsh, but there's a whole call from the deep section because I'm obviously not the only person to think, oh, well, let's combine, these two big nautical campaign books into one big campaign. There's the tunnel. Goes off to the northeast, and there's some cool map details in here. So if we can stomach kind of the fuzzy resolution, then we might be able to roll with this. The last thing that Escarl needs is a dungeon preceding it, but I don't know. I think it's pretty flavorful, and I like the idea of like delving beneath kind of this creepy tower and it getting like creepier from there. Maybe this is partly where the kind of above water headquarters maybe of the Elder Kraken Society members are, although I think there's only a single bedroom here, which is this one in P8. It's still weird that I don't have an overall map of this one. That's just got to be an error, or maybe I deleted it somehow. I don't have the Northern Trisk map, so I can't even like overlay it, because I did that, I think, with like Iron Hand Karen or whatever. I literally overlaid and used that original map. Just a guard room. Is the one that has the Shoggoth guarding. I may choose something else, maybe like a Chul or something. I don't know. Shoggoth seems kind of a little too random. Probably went a little too Lovecraftian in it when it's like, dude, we have Mind Flayer. Let's just use the Mind Flayer stuff. There's plenty of Mind Flayer creatures we could use, right? So we've got this map I think we can use. We've got this map, which I also got from, or no, I didn't. Oh yeah, I did get it from the Ghost of Saltmarsh thing, but it's from Tom Cardos's Patreon. It is freely available though. As a lot of artists will freely share some of their maps, kind of as a incentive to subscribe. And this one would be absolutely perfect. This is like a variant, I think, of a cliffside sacrifice, because there's a scene. I believe it's listed under Utheral, where the denizens are yeeting their children. The harbor cliffs. Yeah, a dozen commoners overseen by deep scions hold their newborn babies over the edge above the crashing waves below. The babies are flung into the rolling ocean, and it's kind of a depraved ritual. They're sacrificing for Slarkerthal. And I like the idea that like the Rocklanders are normally not this evil or crazy, but because the elders feel that something is terribly wrong with Slarkarthel, which the players know it's because they've been taken over by an elder brain, which maybe that's part of, they could try to deal with that diplomatically. The problem is one of the Kraken priest elders will already be a mind flayer. Unfortunately, I don't think mind flayers have any way of disguising themselves, so maybe they're just all wearing like these elaborate mask costumes, and one of them is obviously wearing more elaborate costume than others. So maybe I'll just replace one of the. Maybe that's the easiest way to introduce the mind flayers. Replace one of the Kraken priests with a mind flayer, which that would be a hell of a battle for the party to deal with. So this is one scene, and the party can certainly deal with it via combat if they want. The commoners would all flee, but several of them would transform into deep scions and fight the party in this scene. Don't know if I would use the sea spawn thing. Maybe sea spawn, climb up the cliffs and engage in a ritual with the Rocklanders, swirling dancing. It's kind of incongruous between, like, is the Kraken Society still going on, or is it been completely supplanted by the Mind Flayer colony? I find some, like, inconsistencies there, basically. Because it seems like it's still going on, but, like, the Mind Flayer should be fully in control of this whole area by now. To where, like, yeah, they let them do these things, but, like, would those things actually have the effects? In which case, maybe the Mind Flayers would be, like, sending things, or would they even bother? Base tentacles tend to poke through most masks. Yeah, I know. It does. Yes. I'm trying to. What was that spot where he even mentions the fact that he's supposed to be disguised? The Mind Flayer here is supposed to be disguised, but yeah, it sounds like it'd be pretty. Especially, man, I picture again the Baldur's Gate ones where before I was like, oh, the tentacles are just kind of like right there, just like the Pirates of the Caribbean, Davy Jones guy, whatever. That's just kind of part of the face. But then you play Baldur's Gate, and you're like, holy fuck, those tentacles go like all the way down to like their belly button or something crazy. They're like super long and pronounced. Like, yeah, you wouldn't be able to hide that shit. So I guess it just depends on the tentacle. Do Mind Flayers have different sized tentacles? Do they have tentacle envy with each other? Like, I don't know. I remember that was one of the startling things I saw when I was playing Baldur's Gate, and being like, oh shit, these Mind Flayer tentacles are like fucking huge. Make the other Mind Flayers blush. Where does it mention the fact that one is hidden? It's one of the first scenes that they see, I thought. I really wish this was broken up into multiple journal entries too. There's a lot going on in this area. Hookstead Castle. There we go. A figure cloaked in a head-to-toe black veil. A Mind Flayer watches over the process. So it's like, Bene Gesserit, Dune, like outfit or something. But yeah, how well would you be able to? We could say that like all the Kraken priests are cloaked that way, like that's their whole get up, and thus you could maybe have one of them just be a Mind Flayer. Which I think there's. Sorry to blow my nose. I think there's 5 Kraken priests total. I mentioned the tentacles one. Yeah, there's 5 of them, including Deep Lord Ingramar. So what I'm proposing is to turn one of them into the Mind Flayer. Does it make sense that the Mind Flayer would be one of the like high-ranking priests at this point? And maybe even 1 or 2 priests would be taken over by the intellect of ours could be the other thing. Like they're kind of controlled basically, or they're made into thralls. And then maybe one of the Kraken priests. Here's where we can use what's his name, Fanis, the one king leader. We can instead turn one of the Kraken priests and maybe make him more sympathetic, and he's like maybe the last one who hasn't been turned. Yeah, there was King Frannis. So instead of being a Sea King, he's actually a Kraken priest. So you could maybe make one of the Kraken priests more sympathetic and willing to go to the players and kind of talk to them. That might be a better way of going about it. And maybe he goes to the party. Let's think about this. The party first arrives. They're going to want a long rest. So they can. I don't know if there's going to be some kind of inn or something, or they just need to meet with. I don't know how I'm going to work that out. So I guess it mentions they're taken when they first arrive. They're taken to the castle. Let's see. Characters escorted to Vilkstead Castle in Uthar while they meet with Sea King Frannis. So Frannis is kind of the leader. So maybe I do want Frannis to be the first one they meet with, but instead of the Sea King, he's just one of the Kraken priests. And he's still clad in that, black getup. And maybe the twist being like the first person that that the party engaged with in a leadership role. Maybe the twist is that he's actually sympathetic to the party because he's looking for help. And he's very confused. He's still a Kraken priest cultist, so it doesn't make him necessarily a good person. But certainly not part of the Mind Flayer colony, in other words. So maybe he would have some things to talk to the party about. So maybe he helps get them a... Ooh, that could be a good way of having him prove the fact that he wants to help maybe go to the party. So maybe he helps the party get lodgings, and then during the long rest, I ambush the party by the Mind Flayer colony, who has obviously detected the party is here, and they want to try to take them out. And I'm really picturing like the fucking facehugger scene in Aliens, where the party's sleeping and they just want to get it done. Unfortunately, the best creature to do that with is the Intellect Devourer, and I am, similar to facehuggers, very scared about of unleashing like just Intellect Devourers on sleeping party members. That seems like a good way to fucking wipe the board, because my party is not this current party, at least, is very much not used to having to defend themselves in a long range situation. I think I mentioned that on Monday, right? Like I haven't pulled that off at all, where the party has to like set guards and like worry about their long rest situation. It's always been just kind of an assumed safe thing, which would not be the case here. Now maybe they'll surprise me and actually be preemptive about, hey, we're gonna set up like this, and this in guard situations, in which case that'll be great for them. But I'm not going to assume they're going to do that. So I need to think about what other possible creatures I can use to ambush them, or what that would be like. But I want it to be a creepy kind of a fight scene. But maybe during that same fight scene, I can have Frannis show up at their door thinking he's going to meet with them in secret. He sees them having a fight and he actually helps them. And then that would be a cool way of saying like, oh no, they're coming for you now. And then after that fight, then Frannis can, talk to them and kind of reveal more about the fact that he knows something is messed up and all that. So that'd be a cool way of, I think, giving the party. I need to give them a friendly NPC they can talk to here basically ASAP, so that they kind of get context for the situation. Because I don't think my party likes wandering around on their own and doing all that, at least, especially this late in the campaign. I apologize, I'm getting more and more congested the later this goes on. No, I cannot speak very well. But I'm liking that idea for an event, and turning Frannis into a Kraken priest and having him actually help thwart and aid the party during that scene, and then he becomes kind of a temporary ally of the party, and maybe even tells them like, hey, we've got a ritual coming up tomorrow at the Temple of Tentacles, where all the Kraken priests will be there. It might be the best chance to confront them, basically. He's not necessarily wanting to kill them or attack them, he just wants maybe some answers, but it would turn into a fight because it turns out they're way far gone than he realized. Like, one of them was literally a Mind Flayer, and the others have probably been Intellect Devoured, and maybe Deep Lord Ingramar has just knows what's going on, but he has joined up basically with the colony and just said like, yeah, this is the way forward. I know I need to worship this new powerful like iteration of Slarkrethel with these new visitors from the stars or something. And so it would still be a cool boss battle, but then I could also turn one of the Kraken priests into an ally of the party, which would then make it a little more interesting for that fight. So I'm liking all of these ideas. Night ambush. So we're going to turn Frannis into an ally, but we're changing Frannis. So Kraken priest, and the only one who's not taken over or allied with the Mind Flayer colony. Ooh, Star Spawn. Okay. Those kind of creepy creatures I could use. We looked at the Intellect Devourer on Monday, and I was very worried, even though it does fit the whole face hugger thing. It's just ridiculous. The fact that it can like lobotomize people and there's no way to like cure it is insane to me. As part of its multi-attack too. Intellect Devour targets a creature you can see within 10 feet of it that has a brain. Target must succeed a DC 12 intelligence saving throw, which is low, but intelligence saves are usually not what most party members are good at. We can check everybody's saves. Or take 2d10 psychic damage, and then on a failure, I roll 3d6, and if the total equals or exceeds the target's intelligence score, which again, they probably don't have great intelligence, then that score is reduced to 0 and they're stunned. And then on a future action, which it does take 2 actions to do that, then they can use their body thief ability where they make an intelligence, a contested intelligence check, which if you have an intelligence of 0, I imagine your intelligence check is like a -5 or something. So more than likely you're getting body thiefed. So I'm not a big fan of that. I would be really interested to see how the 2024 Monster Manual fixes some of those kind of broken creatures. And it's a CR2, like but it can just automatically lobotomize and delete people. Like that's kind of crazy. Even though, granted, it does give you like a save and another check to do it. So as example, Gottwald has a +0 intelligence save. Mac has a +1 intelligence save. Savra's will probably be pretty good as a wizard, but the only one with a good intelligence. +9 intelligence save. So she very rarely fail that. DC 12. And Twirl has a +1. So other than the wizard, everybody else has a +1 or a +0 to intelligence saves. Which means you've got basically a 50% chance, slightly better than that, of surviving that save against Devour Intellect. Alright, James, let's check the Star Spawn. Twirl's first true disciple of the cult for the encompassing tentacle. Yeah. Twirl, and maybe that's why, in fact, that's a great thought, Nate, is he senses that Twirl is also a member of the Fathomless, and thus maybe that's why Frannis can see the players as allies and use Twirl as kind of the one that he speaks to more often. Why do these not have... Okay, there they are. That's weird. The original version didn't have token art. Let's see. Star spawns here. Blow my nose again. Ah, it's perfect. Star Spawn Spear is often encountered as the leader of a cult dedicated to one or more elder evils. Usually the seer is the only cult member that grasps the full extent of the horror the cult is venerating. A lot of this is very relevant. Accompanied by Star Spawn Hulks. Okay. What's the stat block look like? CR 13. Okay, we're getting a boss level stat block here. Out of phase movement. Move through creatures and objects if they were difficult terrain. Some really great saves, damage resistances, condition immunities. This here makes 2 Comet Staff or Psychic Orb attacks. Wow. Or succeed on DC 19, cause her to be incapacitated. Good lord. Psychic Orb. Plus 11 to hit. 5d10 psychic damage. Or Collapse Distance. Warp space around one creature can see within 30 feet of it. Creature must get a DC 19 Wiz save. Teleport up to 60 feet to occupied space. Here you can see. Oh, that's cool. Enemies that can teleport players around. And then each creature within 10 feet of the target's original target takes 6d12 psychic damage. Good lord. Oh, wow, I can exchange position with their star spawn. I can see when it attacks. All right, that's a boss level creature for sure. So maybe you could replace Deep Lord Ingramar with that stat block. Although he's also got Staff of the Magi, which he should be able to use. The original stat block is a human warlock of the Great Old One, which is a little bit weaker at CR6. So maybe it's worth using just a souped up stat block that doesn't rely on spells. Having all these psychic damage abilities would be very appropriate as well. What else do we have? Starspawn Gru. Looks like a happy fellow. Very humanoid. Aura of Shrieks. Creatures that have within 20 feet of the Gru that aren't aberrations have disadvantage on saving throws as well as attack rolls against other creatures. Jeez. It's kind of interesting. A little minion creature with a nasty debuff. Or Starspawn Hulk. Sounds like the big brute. CR10. Multi attack makes slam attacks. Reaping arms. Makes a separate slam attack as each creature within 10 feet of it. Wow. The Hulk takes psychic damage. Each within 10 feet of the Hulk takes that damage instead. The Hulk takes none of that damage. Okay, we have the Mangler. There's a lot of these Starspawn things. I think I used these guys for Dazan at one point, didn't I? CR5. Just makes a bunch of claw attacks. Creator Starspawn Emissary for Van Richten's. Or a Larva Mage. Ew, they're just like made up of worms. A nightmarish combination of a mortal body and otherworldly substance. At one point, the book does mention a slithering tracker as an ambush, or as an attack when I think they go to the abandoned temple. Yeah. The puddle to be a slithering tracker. So that could be a creature that we use. Some kind of ooze. This is like a water-themed ooze from Mordenkainen's. It has a chance to do a creepy grappling thing that like chokes him out too. And not as bullshitty as the Intellect Devourer. Similar stats too. AC of 14, average of 39 hit points. Good ambusher. Got a +8 to stealth and looks like just a puddle of liquid. Which means it would also be able to squeeze through narrow openings, so no problem getting into wherever it needs to. Move through a space as narrow as 1 inch wide. Could it attack you from the inside? Life leech. 1 larger or smaller creature sling targets within 5 feet of it. Must need a DC 13 dex save or be grappled. Which again, if they're all sleeping, you just automatically fail those saves. Till this grapple ends, the target is restrained and unable to breathe unless it can breathe water. In addition, I wonder if some of the players can breathe water, actually. That's a good question. Did Toril do that? Yes, Toril can breathe underwater. That's pretty cool. So it allows him to be uniquely suited for dealing with this. Some of the other players may have magic items that allow them to breathe underwater too. So that's a pretty cool deal. In addition, the grappled target takes 3d10 necrotic damage at the start of each of its turns. Slithering Tracker can grapple only 1 target at a time. While grappling the target, the tracker only takes half any damage dealt to it, and the target takes the other half. Pretty nasty. So if it successfully grapples people, which it would, then they can't really do anything. They're restrained. I guess you could still have your action, but you just couldn't. You'd have disadvantage, and you'd be sitting there choking, unless you get out with a DC 13, or you start attacking these things. But the creature only takes half damage, and the player takes the other half. I think that's a pretty good. Yeah, blindside 120 feet. It's a really good ambusher, honestly. They're immune to a lot of conditions. They can't be grappled, paralyzed, restrained. They're just liquid. They're just nasty liquid oozes. So I'm kind of liking using this creature. 4 of them on the party. Although the party may have more people, I could see that happening as well if they're teleported to Utherall. I'm kind of planning. Let's assume all their NPCs survive, which is basically the 2 Tritons and Borgus at this point. We'll say everybody else died. We kind of forgotten about them when the ship got run aground. And I know that when they get teleported, we can have the Tritons say like, "Hey, let's go." Like we kind of know where we are. Our Triton headquarters are not that far. We can go get a bunch of reinforcements and arrive, which will happen in a big climactic opportunity. So the only question is whether Borgus goes with them or Borgus stays with the party, I guess. Which I can see the party going either way. Borgus being the fan favorite. So I like the Slithering Tracker. We still need a good map for what would be. I cannot with. I've blown my nose like 4 times. Like I just cannot. I'm completely stuffed up. I apologize for how snotty I am. Ugh. Yeah, I need a map for a guest loghouse. Characters invited to stay in a moldering wooden loghouse, the thatched ceiling which is white and furry with mildew. So I'll need to put that map together, and then that map is where I will launch the Slithering Tracker ambush, but also have, I think, the Kraken Priest Frannis show up. God, I am completely... I cannot breathe. Sorry. So that's cool. That's the first, basically, event, is I have Frannis talk to them and introduce, kind of welcome them to this creepy village where the party's all like, okay, this place is fucking weird and creepy. Maybe include some of those scenes that are in Utherall for like the sanity check things, but probably not worrying about actual sanity checks, maybe. And then at night, we ambush them with the Slithering Trackers, which the party can deal with, and then Frannis can show up at the door, maybe like busting down the door and helping, like maybe even include some extra Slithering Trackers in case, because I want a full round to go by and then the party not be able to defeat all them. The most embarrassing thing to do is if they like finish the fight and then like Frannis knocks on the door and then the party's gonna be all like suspicious. So I want him to show up, and instead of knocking on the door, he'll probably just bust it open because hearing the fight, and then help them with the fight, which would be pretty cool. And then he can have a big dialogue scene with the party, kind of explaining the fact that this used to be such a nice place. Things have gotten pretty creepy lately, and he's not trusting his fellow priests, and they've been acting strange, and he fears that whatever's happening to them is going to happen to him next, basically. And as evidence of the party being attacked, he's like, this is, crazy. We don't usually, we don't see a lot of outsiders, but we certainly would never, attack them like this. It's completely not what we do here at the Kraken Society. And then he can explain that there's going to be a ritual the next day at the Temple of Tentacles, which I do have a few maps for. I found one in searching. This is from obviously Gabriel Picard, my main map artist in Roll20, called Save versus Cave Water Temple, which there is one that's very similar looking, where it's kind of a circular area with a hole in the middle. Well, I was like, well, damn, that's actually kind of what I was looking for. I pictured the Temple of Tentacles was actually above ground, though, and this one is clearly below ground, but maybe that doesn't change anything necessarily. We can still have it be below in a cave. That might add to the creepiness factor if it's dark. Although Gabriel Picard loves putting shadows on the map, and there's still shadows out here, even though it's clearly underground. Maybe it's built into the ground, but it's still... You can still have it be, open to the air, I guess. Could be fine. I don't know why it matters to me. Maybe it's just kind of sunken in. And I like the idea of there being water, and then the pit like descends. It's like super deep. But I think the idea was it was going to be a pit that actually is like a water slide. It doesn't necessarily just go right into water, but it like is a pit that drops you down through the island all the way down into one of the locations in the ruins of Ascarl, I guess. So maybe the Kraken priests just kind of walk around, and then as they perform a ritual, maybe like tentacles even come up out of the temple when they do this, which would just be like basically. I think it is originally written they kill somebody at this location. Or no, that's right. I was gonna combine that. I was gonna combine one of the scenes where they're ritualistically like killing somebody. What was that? This one. As the characters light the habitable region of the ruins, they pass through a domed circular chamber, which is exactly what the Temple of Tentacles is, whose walls were engraved with crashing wave motifs. It's a 5-foot radius hole in the center of the floor, which drops several hundred feet to the ocean below. 3 berserkers lead a bound commoner to the hole and throw him down. A figure cloaked in a head-to-toe black veil, mind flare, can watch some of the process. So that was the scene I was gonna take and put into the Temple of Tentacles, where they're like just yeeting people down there. Which really what they're doing is they've chosen somebody that they're gonna have go through the whole maybe Ceramorphosis process or Intellect Devourer process or something, one of their own. And that's something that perhaps the Francis character is very concerned about. That people are thrown down here, and he does see them again later, but they're all changed and acting very differently. So that's an odd thing that happens. So that could be something the party could try to stop and deal with and have this big boss battle. And then they can choose to either go down there or I have to be careful about how I want to word this. Maybe I do want to give the party just. Well, I can tell them there's going to be this scene happening the next morning, so it happens pretty quick. So I get them there first, and then also I could have Francis tell them about the Northern Trisk situation, where like, hey, I also know people come and go out of this area. Essentially, I'm turning this NPC into like giving them all the information instead of having them find the information. Maybe that's being a little too handholdy at this point, but I think my party would appreciate it, and it still offers a lot of like social and exploration stuff that's happening versus having them like kind of explore this space, because it's not like it's a full town that they can really interact with. There's just like seeds that they can witness basically. So maybe that's something that he'll also Francis can also mention the fact that he sees people go in and out of this crumbling tower, which is the Northern Trisk map. And that then can lead to basically 2 different avenues for the party to enter the ruins of Ascarl, because ultimately the whole goal here is to make it to that mega dungeon. So we can have them take that water slide in the Temple of Tentacles all the way down. Maybe that plops them in somewhere. Very obviously dangerous to do that. Or the more straightforward way is to go through Northern Trisk, through this crumbling tower. Maybe even if any of the Kraken priests get into a mad fight and they flee, maybe they could flee towards this tower area, which would be a good way of finding it as well. The party can actually chase somebody north to that area, because that also leads to the ruins of Ascarl. But plus, if they defeat Deep Lord Ingramar, they could get that Savra, especially, could get that awesome Staff of the Magi staff. So that allows us to use all of these major location elements. So I guess I haven't figured out a way to use this cliffside thing though. I'll have to work out the timing of that actually. When do they do this sacrificing of the kids? Yeah, I haven't worked out the timeline of that when that occurs. You could maybe do it when the party first arrives. They're not going to do much when they first arrive, are they? Because they're going to need them a long rest. But that would give them pause of getting involved, I guess. I haven't worked out the details of that. That's this map right here, the one with the purple cliff and everything, because I think that's worth using. But that's a seed. And then Francis meeting with the party is a seed. The party being ambushed by slithering trackers while they sleep is a scene with Frannis like helping them and then kind of confirming the fact that they're going to be allies. And then that would be probably all the first day, night. And then the next day, we can do the Temple of Tentacles plus Northern Trisk. And then once they've most likely gone into Northern Trisk, then they're on their way towards the ruins of Ascarl. Although maybe the Temple of Tentacles path leads them to the actual ruins, and Northern Trisk leads them to the lower part of Ascarl. So two different areas, but they could go back and forth between those two. And then we'll need to start really analyzing how to run this mega dungeon as well. And it's nice that we're being able to get ahead on these things because there's a lot going on that I've had to kind of change and implement before the party has even stepped foot on this. And I'm still keeping my idea of combining the islands. I'm not using a separate island for Utheral and Trisk. I may not even show them the Sword Coast map again. Just teleport them here. Just have everything happen on this island. Just have it go boom, boom, boom with 2 days worth of these events or things, which is still, I think, going to be plenty of content, and then get them to that final dungeon. Because we are definitely in finale mode. I feel like things have been dragging along a little slowly. I'm not even sure we can. I'm hoping we can complete the dang Tentrix area battle thing on Friday. I'm more confident now than I was last week. We did make a lot of progress last week, and the party actually took out a lot of people without taking much damage themselves. We introduced their ship and their allies. So hopefully they can get their shit together and make it to Tentrix, actually have that big boss fight, and then we can get the party teleported to this area and go from there. But I think that's going to do it for this crafting stream. Again, a little bit shorter, but I'm just so freaking congested. I'm really hoping I'm not going to get any worse for tonight's Patreon game. Has me a little anxious. And obviously for Friday, so I will do my best. Drink some water, rest up, shove all the things up my nose, and hopefully you can feel better from there. Stupid October. All right, that will do it for this Crafting the Deep. If you enjoyed the content, as always, please check out patreon.com/Rogue Watson. Shouts to Platinum patrons. Joe, Will, Thomas, Stan, Brandon, Ted, Sonic, Eclectic Roleplayer, Orcus, for Corey, Big Nut, John F, John L, Nathan, Kemp, Chris, Counselor, Andrew, the Relevant, Stephanie, Patrick, Jason, Ismail, Element, Libby, Sponge, Shorty, Warden, Harold, Yuma, LC, Tom, AJ, the 80 the Dogs, Luis, Caleb, Channel, Luca, and Gold patrons, RPG, Papercast, Pretty Boy, and Yuma, Lizard Lounge, Jerome, Nathan, Pascal, Torres, Scott, Rufus, Jerry, Glenn, Marcus, and Mark. Thank you all very much for your support.